Hey, it's Mark coming to you from Baker's Green Acres. Today's the 22nd. Again, I made a video earlier, and I said something in there about we have some leadership problems in the state, and those things need to be dealt with. And I said we'll take that up after the holidays. But I got to thinking about that, and that my own statement really bothered me. All of my life, I've been working on those holidays, and right now there are people deployed in overseas locations getting shot at, and they don't get the week off because it's Christmas, you know. And so I guess my point is truth, justice in the American way doesn't wait for days that are not convenient, all right? We have some problems and we need to take them straight on. And I've been thinking about this for a long time. You know, we went through a major battle and you come out of that and things are really clear to you. And I'm seeing all these other things that are cropping up in the farming world where certain organizations don't want people farming. And that's kind of why I always say anyone can farm, because anyone can farm. But these organizations will regulate you and try to scare you into not doing what you feel you ought to do, which is very important that we farm. Okay, so this message starts with a question, and then I want to develop it from there. The question is, what is the supreme law of the United States? I'll give you a minute to process that. You can even pause it right here if you want to, because I'm going to have to tell you what the supreme law is, because I know it, and I don't just know it theoretically, I know it because I lived through it. You know that our Attorney General dropped all charges against me 10 days prior to trial. Now, in that trial, we would have brought out things that come right out of the Constitution. Now, don't get scared by the word the Constitution. The Constitution is 4 pages long. The first part of it is the Bill of Rights, and that's probably where you ought to start. Get the Bill of Rights, download it, Google it, and go through those, all right? Now, I'm telling you that the Constitution is the supreme law of the land. And if you have this discussion with anybody, you can start with that question, and then if they say it isn't, then say what is? What is the supreme law of the land? Is it environmental laws? What is it? It's absolutely the Constitution of the United States. And if it were not, you would have been disarmed a long time ago. And you wouldn't have the freedom of speech. You wouldn't have the freedom to go on the internet like I'm doing right now and tell the world that you've elected someone who is desperately corrupt and is a dissident of this document. And that's what I'm doing right now. I have the right to do that in this country because the First Amendment says so. Right? Now, there's been some discussion about our Attorney General, and people, you might be thinking I'm just harping on that because I'm still irritated that they ruined my business and took 3 years away from my family life with my wife and put all those lines on her face and all that stuff. I am, but that's not why I'm doing this. Here's why I'm doing this. Me and the rest of my brethren that served in the military, and a lot of other people too, but just I'm talking about me. I took an oath to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States from all enemies, foreign and domestic. Define enemy, okay? I'll give you a minute to do that. You can pause it here if you want to. Define enemy. Okay, is enemy somebody that supports the Constitution? Am I an enemy of the Constitution? No, I'm defending it. An enemy would be somebody who subverts it, right? Who violates it willingly. That's an enemy of the Constitution, okay? Now, my Attorney General in this state, his name is Bill Schuette. You can write that name down because we are at a point where we have to single people out. We have to single them out big time, all right? I'm going to explain why in a minute. My Attorney General is going to stand up in front of the people of the state who elected him, and he's going to raise his right hand, put his left hand on the Bible, and swear an oath to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States. Okay? He's going to do that. He's going to do that in January. He's just elected again. The summer before last, he issued a fine to me and my family of $700,000. And it was intended to scare us into just doing what the Department of Natural Resources wanted us to do, and that was to get rid of our pigs. The Eighth Amendment to the Constitution, it's very clear. Here it is. Reads like this: excessive bail shall not be required, nor excessive fines be imposed, nor cruel and unusual punishment inflicted to the American citizens. That's who this is applying to. So here's an Attorney General, Bill Schuette, that swears an oath to protect and defend this document, and then he levels a fine against me in directly opposing the oath that he took. What does that make that man? Okay? Now, I know I had a discussion with a guy today, and he would say, well, yeah, but, you know, look what this guy's doing, and look what this guy's doing. Well, you know, really all that we can take care of is what's on our plate. A lot of you across the country have supported us and our farm. You've become part of this struggle, and we came out of it the victors. We did. We beat them in court. Of course, you know, they had a judge that said that we weren't due any damages, but so it didn't seem like a victory, but we actually did. And it was thrown out on what? Lack of constitutionality, right? They don't throw something out because it's not constitutional if the Constitution doesn't exist or if it doesn't apply. It certainly does apply. It was thrown out. We win. Now, of course, the DNR and the state entities are still saying that we're in violation, but that's just sour grapes because we're not. And it continues to affect our business for sure. USDA plants won't touch us, but we can work around that. And the only reason we can work around that is because we have the Constitution. And I could go into that in depth, but I won't at this point. Now, what are we going to do is the question. Here's what I think we ought to do, and this comes right out of the mouth of Thomas Jefferson. He said, when the people fear their government, you have tyranny. All right? But when the government fears their people, you have liberty. So, Americans, what do you want? You want tyranny or you want liberty? All right? Do you want the Attorney General's office saying, we're going to fine you $700,000? You know what that would do to a family? $700,000. If the judge put the gavel down and said, you got to pay it, I'd be devastated for the rest of my life. My wife would too, and my children. We would lose our property. So that's why that amendment is in there, because it can be used as a weapon by government so efficiently, and yet that is exactly what they did. Now, what do you do when somebody subverts the Constitution, especially somebody who took an oath to protect and defend that Constitution? What do you do? All right? Well, you bring it to their attention first. Done that. Attorney General Bill Schuette knows all about this. He's going around telling everybody that the issue has been solved. It has been settled. It hasn't been settled. It hasn't. It'll be settled when there is two things that happen. There has to be an apology, and there has to be repentance. Repentance. That means, this isn't a religious discussion, that means you say, yes, I did the wrong thing, I won't do it again. All right? Because after all, that guy that sits in that office, and he's paid highly, very powerful man, comes from a very rich family, who does he work for? He works for us. He works for the people who elected him. He goes around saying that he works for the departments. You know, Department of Natural Resources, Department of Environmental Quality. That's a lie. He doesn't. They did not elect him. He was elected to be the Attorney General for the people of the state of Michigan, to stand toe-to-toe with those departments to make sure that they don't trounce our constitutional rights. That's why in the state of Michigan we have so much problem, because they've got that turned around. You know, he goes after people that tell the DNR, I'm not going to do what you say, right? But we have this on our side. We have this Constitution on our side, and that's a big. That's huge. That's our ace in the hole. You know, against tyranny. Okay, I'm explaining this now, and I want you to chew on this and think about it. And when I come back, I'm going to offer some courses of action, because it is absolutely obvious to me that once we've brought it to this man's attention, and he continues to press on down this road, what will be the next amendment that he will violate? It probably won't be me. It'll be you. But is it going to be, you don't have the right to free speech anymore? Only in your home you can do that, right? Will that be it? Or will it be that, now we can search and seize your car when we feel like it? You no longer have the Fourth Amendment. Is that going to be it? So are you going to wait till then, or are you going to act now? We still have a chance to reform this guy. We still have a chance to do that. And we'll see. But it's going to take your help. It's going to take a lot of people getting involved, making phone calls and saying, hey, what the hell is with this? Are we a representative republic governed by a constitution? And is it the supreme law of the land? Yes or no? And can the Attorney General violate the oath that he took and still walk around and operate? I mean, I'm telling you, you don't want an employee that does that says, I will come to work at 7 o'clock every morning, but then 2 days later he comes in at 8 and says, well, yeah, but there's nothing you can do about it. Really?